Welcome back to Traveling Dice. This is Jason. Really excited today to share with you an update on my Warhammer group's current campaign, which is focused on the old Path to Glory rules. These rules were originally released about 20 years ago during Warhammer's 6th edition. We have adopted these rules. We feel like they fit very well with 8th edition, and we are running an 8th edition Path to Glory based on the old rules. The Path to Glory campaign is focusing on your champion. So your warband is led by a Chaos champion, and your champion is trying to earn the admiration of the Chaos gods. And where's the best place to earn that admiration? Of course, on the battlefield. So the first thing I want to do is walk you through the warband setup. In the Path to Glory campaign rules, the currency of the campaign is favor points. So rather than getting gold or something like that, you are earning the favor of your particular chaos deity, or potentially all of them if you're undivided, and you're able to spend these favor points to attract followers to your warband. So it's really like they're hearing of your great deeds on the battlefield, and they're coming to join you, and you have the option of accepting them. So while you're creating your warband, you start out with 35 favor points, and you automatically get your Chaos champion. And he's really good. He's strength 4, toughness 4, he has 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and the very first option that you have is to spend 4 of your 35 favor points and put him on a barded Chaos steed. For me, this seemed like an automatic choice. The barded Chaos steed is amazing. He's going to give you +2 armor. You already have Chaos armor. This is going to bring your champion to a 2+ armor save. He's also going to give you a lot more maneuverability on the battlefield. So the first thing I did was spend 4 favor points, and I mounted my Chaos champion. Now, we need to fill out the warband. Filling out the warband, you have 2 options. You have 2 tables that you can roll on. Rolling on the table costs favor points. So rolling on table 1 has some of your more basic troops. You have Marauder Horsemen, Chaos Hounds, Marauders, Chaos Warriors, Beastmen, Gore, and then if you roll a 12 on that table on 2d6, you get to roll on table 2 for the cost of rolling on table 1. Rolling on table 1 costs only 1 favor point. Table 2 costs 2 favor points to roll on. However, it has some of the more threatening options. So you have your Chaos Sorcerer, Minotaur, Chaos Demons, depending upon your alignment, which Chaos Deity, Chosen of Chaos, Knight of Chaos, Ogre, Chaos Troll, and Chosen Knight of Chaos, as well as a Chaos Spawn. So I was pretty attracted to table 2 initially, and I was really eyeing that Chaos Troll. Particularly because I had some conversion ideas in mind, and I just wanted to model and paint one up. So I go and I roll on table 2, and it is just meant to be the first thing I do is roll a 10. So I spend 2 favor points to roll on the table, and then you also have to pay for whatever you roll if you decide that you indeed want to add it to your warband. So a Chaos Troll costs 9 favor points, and I go ahead and take him. I'm really pleased with that. So I should mention that my Chaos Champion is chosen to be a worshiper of Nurgle, so that will affect some of my upcoming rolls. But at this point in the warband creation, I have spent 11 of my favor points. And I honestly don't have a huge strategy at this point. I'm just looking at table 2, and it just seems so awesome, so I decided to roll on it again. I spent an extra 2 favor points, and I end up rolling up a 5. And I get a Chaos Demon. And this is going to be a Plague Bearer because I'm a Nurgle warband. And I think the demons are really, really good. I think the 5-up ward save is going to be particularly useful, and I'm really pleased with that. So I add the Plague Bearer to my warband. All right, so after spending the 4 favor points to accept the Plague Bearer into the warband, I decide that I'm going to just lean into this elite force kind of a theme. In fact, I'm going to have the smallest warband out of all of the players in the campaign by far. And I decide I'm going to roll on table 2 yet again. So I spend another 2 favor points, and I roll up a Chosen of Chaos. And this is the cheapest option on table 2, and I end up rolling a Flail for him. You do roll the equipment randomly. So that seems great. The flail seems really good. He's still going to get to attack at his initiative, but is going to get +2 strength the first round. One of the better options in terms of equipment, and I'm really pleased with that. So I go ahead and pay the 3 favor points to accept him to the warband. So for my last addition to the warband, I go over to table 1. I decide I should get some boots on the ground here. Spend the 1 favor point for a roll on table 1, and I get Chaos Warriors. There are D3 of them available. I roll a 2 and decide to pick up both of them. They end up being armed with great weapons. So after everything is said and done, I've spent 34 favor points. There are some reroll options, so you can spend a favor point to increase a die roll, shifting from one option to another, or simply just not recruiting what you roll and re-rolling on the table. I did this a few times. I didn't take notes on all of it, but I end up with 1 favor point left. Your champion does get a free advancement, and I end up rolling up +1 attack. And my champion's armed with a great weapon. I think this is a great combination. You could arm him with a shield, and then that would get him the 1-up armor save. I decided not to do this. I think that the 2-up armor save is pretty good. I give him a shield anyways, just in case there's some magic missiles or some unforeseen shooting attacks of that nature. But in combat, he's just going to have the great weapon. There are 4 of us playing in the campaign, so each round is going to involve me fighting 3 opponents. You gain favor potentially in every single battle. In fact, you're guaranteed to at least gain 2. You have basic favor table. Playing a battle gets you 2. Playing against a warband that has a rating of 10 more than you gets you +5, which isn't going to be applicable initially. Taking a champion out of action is +2. Winning a battle is +2. And then if you actually beat a person with a rating of 10 or higher, it's +5. Wipe your enemy completely out is +2. And then refusing a challenge is -2. And then you have your god-specific ones. So the Nurgle ones are pretty good. They seem really attainable. Taking an enemy out of action. Now this isn't cumulative, but you get 2 favor points for that. It seems like you're automatically going to get that unless you're just really having a time. Taking a champion of Tzeentch out of action is +2. This is only going to come up on occasion because most of the players aren't Tzeentch. And then failing to take any models out of action is -2. So we already had the first session where we did the pitched battle scenario, and I fought my 3 opponents. For every 6 favor points you gain throughout the campaign, your champion gets an advancement. You get to roll on a table. So there are stat increases, there are god-specific advancements, and then there's mutations. And some of these are really great. In fact, I think I got really lucky on these rolls. I got a total of 18 favor points during the first session of the campaign. And the first thing I roll up is +1 toughness. Absolutely amazing. I get to roll again, and I end up getting a Nurgle advancement and rolling a 12, which means my champion's already starting to transform into a demon, and I get a 5-up ward save. I think the 5-up ward save is probably one of the better things that are available to the champions. So really excited about this. All of a sudden, my guy is really defensible, in addition to being a killing machine with a +1 attack and the great weapon. The last one I get is a mutation. I get Bestial Visage, which gives me fear. Pretty good. Causing fear, if your opponent fails that check, they're going to go down to weapon skill 1, and it's going to make it really likely that you're hitting and very difficult for them to hit you. So it will come up on occasion. And then also, if I go up against something that causes fear, this is, of course, going to be helpful that I won't have to take that check myself. My champion is taken out of action during the first session, and I end up rolling on the injury table for the champions. And this is kind of scary because you put a lot into this guy, and you do not want him to just get killed or, to digress and get some kind of nagging injury. On the injury table, you roll a d66, which means you allocate 1d6 as the 10s place and 1d6 as the 1s, and I end up getting a 24. And this is madness, and you're supposed to roll a further d6. On 1 through 3, your champion suffers from stupidity for the remainder of the campaign, or on a 4 through 6, the warrior suffers from frenzy, again for the remainder of the campaign. So stupidity is horrifically bad. I really, really don't want this. Frenzy is good and bad. It's a mixed bag. And I end up getting a 5, and my warrior gains frenzy. So on the plus side, he's going to get an additional attack. So he's up to 4 attacks with a great weapon strength 6. Really good. He's immune to psychology, but there would be situations where I'll be forced to charge, forced to pursue, and forced to overrun. And I'm fighting really good opponents, so they're going to be able to exploit that at times. And I think that's going to come up in the next scenario, which involves potentially defending something. We'll see how I do. But overall, great. My champion's a real killing machine. He's a real threat. I have a really elite force. I do end up losing a Chaos Warrior. The regular troops don't roll on the injury table. They just roll a d6, and they're dead on the roll of a 1. Now, you can spend a favor point and re-roll this, which seems like something that generally you should do, unless it's a really trash troop that you just don't want anymore. And I do re-roll it, and I get a 1 again, and you are bound by the second roll. So my elite force actually loses a guy. I'm down to 5 at the end of the first campaign session. Now, I gain a bunch of favor, so I decide I'm going to attract new followers. I roll on table 2, and I'm really eyeing the sorcerer, and I get the sorcerer, which is great. It's going to give me ranged threat. I'm probably going to go lower fire on him. And yeah, just having that huge combat threat with my champion combined with the ranged threat of the Chaos Sorcerer seems really, really good. I spend the 7 favor points, I pick him up, and I do have a balance of 4 favor points remaining going into the second session. So take a look at this is my current warband going into session 2. We have my Chaos Champion, Esmond, we have my Chaos Troll, the Plague Bearer, the Chosen with Flail, the Great Weapon, wielding Chaos Warrior, and my Sorcerer. The second session scenario has a defending, a circle, and it's randomized who's the attacker and who's the defender. Whoever rolls higher is the attacker. I'm really hoping that for the second session that I generally get to be the attacker. I feel like my warband is much better suited for that as opposed to trying to defend a small area. But we're going to play in about a week and a half. I'll have some battle reports for you forthcoming. Bye for now.